everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We are really excited to have you join us today for the launch of the newly redesigned ZoomTour, the easy-to-use, cloud-based virtual tour builder. This is the first of the launches, new features, new tools that we are doing for the 25th anniversary of GIS Planning, and we're really excited to have you here with us today. My name is Elisa Sklar. I'm the VP of Marketing for GIS Planning, and I'm thrilled to have with me today my colleague Chris Gillis. Hello, Chris.
Good afternoon or morning, everyone.
Before I turn this over to Chris to do the kind of detailed tour, I just want to give you a kind of a bit of a background what ZoomTour is all about. So ZoomTour is something that we launched last year. This is a cloud-based virtual tour builder. And what that means is you get a license to use ZoomTour, extremely affordable. It is very simple. You do not need training. You don't need a background in marketing or graphics design. And what you can do is build as many themed virtual tours as you like to show off the top features about your community. So this is, as we said, cloud-based software, easy to use, and you can use it from any device. It's what we've done this time around this year is we've redesigned the user interface. It's very engaging, very easy to follow, updated, very visual. We're going to show you what that looks like. To build a Zoom tour, there is an intuitive dashboard that lets you put the tours together. So as I said, you need no training or no background in graphic design. You do not need to outsource this. How do you share your tours? I'm going to show you shortly, but basically you share it with a link. And that link is something you can put on your website. This is content that you can share with people. You can put it on social media. You can add it to an email. You can add it to a report. You can do it online in a webinar or a presentation at a conference. And you can add in any tour as many stops as you want. Kind of like a hop-on, hop-off bus. Think of it as the virtual version of that. You're going to take people on a tour of stops in your community. This can be businesses down Main Street. It can be properties that you want to feature. It can be stops at a new development that is happening in a section of your town. Whatever it is, you can design the tour around those. Now, within each stop, we will use, as we do for all GIS planning tools, a Google Maps interface. So we have Street View, we have the maps. You can add images, video, audio. You can add links to websites. You can add links to your GIS planning tools if you have them. You do not need to use them to build the tours. And from there, you're basically telling a story about something in your community. Now, I am going to pass this over to you, Chris, and you can show everyone a little bit more about what these tours look like and give them examples of different tours.
All right, great. So everyone should be seeing a tour. This is what it looks like here. We have, you come in, there is overall an image associated with the tour just to kind of set the mood. There is an introduction to every tour here. This tour I'm going to show you is a little more complex than most. This is kind of like if you've got your A game and you have a lot of media to use, this is sort of something that we can help you aim for. I'll also show you a much more simpler day-to-day tour as well. But as Elisa mentioned, sharing these is very, very easy. They are all shared by URL. So in the URL here up in the URL bar, that is what you're going to use in social media, links on your website and so forth. When we start the tour, we're going to come in and we're going to see the tour with all its map stops here. Down below, we have ways to share the tour via social media or the good old-fashioned link here. This is how you're going to do it there. With these stops, as Lisa said, there can be as many as you want. It does, if you get 6,000 in a tour, that may be too many. So you can plan these out to break these out appropriately. You can group tours together as well. Let's dive in and look at this. So I started the tour. I have my list of tour stops here to set the mood of where I'm going. An individual stop has several elements. This one has 4 elements. There is 5 total. I'll show you all 5 here in a second. This one, when I said this one is using the A game, this is using some drone video here. You can also do architectural walkthrough. Every stop has a map location that also has a stop description associated with it here. In the description, you can put in links and link out to other places. So this is something we highly recommend doing there. They've also embedded some sound here. Again, this is kind of, a little nerdy, but you can embed sound, video, and pictures in this section here. We just looked at the drone section here, the drone video they had. Not everyone's going to have that, so don't feel you need that to use this here. The content tab. Here they're displaying some information from their Zoom prospector, but you can display a website in here. I'll show you how this looks like. Not all websites can be displayed in this, unfortunately, but it's really easy to display content from another website if it does allow it. Also, video or photos can go in the images tab as well. This essentially is the gallery section here. As we step through each tour, we're going to get the next stop for each thing. Each element in a stop can be displayed to put first. So here's another drone video with this. Here's the images. You can step through those. Let's look at this stop. Again, this one is heavily using those drone videos here, but we do have just basic content within this here. So here, displaying Zoom Prospector for those using it there. And again, our good old friend, the map here. Let's look at a simpler one here as we step forward. So this is one that's really basic. Some of you may have already seen this as we've shown this. This is something that is the basic solid implementation. So overview on the left, overall picture on the right there. Map stops on this. This is a county in Nevada. As we step through these, we're going to have Street View is one of the 5th elements so far here. I have this map overview where I've created some content. I'm linking out to something. The website that's going to load up here. This is an external website. So if your website can embed or another one can, you can use that content in a tour. And then, of course, we have images. This one, I have a video first and then an image second. If we look at another one here, here's Street View again. This is simply using Google's content. You don't have to go out and photograph everything. I do have it placed on a map as well. The content is this location's website. Again, I'm not creating this content. I'm just linking to it within my tour. And then I have a photo and a video here. So this video is going to link out and go from there. Let's talk about how easy these are to create here. But Elisa, did I miss anything in going over the overview of the elements, things you can use in these, how they work? They're shared via a link. You can even share an individual stop. Anything that I missed, Elisa?
No, I think that's great. The idea being, of course, as you say, that it's very multimedia, but that integrating Google means that you've got all these images that you can access without having to go and necessarily take them by yourself. If you've invested in any other kind of media production, you have images or video, this is another great way to leverage them.
Right. Okay. Let's jump into how to create these. We're not going to get too nerdy for this, but it is really simple for the overview. If you are an existing Zoom Prospector client, this is something we just turn on for you when you get a subscription. You'll come into the admin. It looks like this. Under the Zoom tour here, you'll see a list of all your tours. This is our demonstration account here, so it's got a lot of silly tours within it. But to create a tour, you'll just click Add Zoom Tour. You'll give it a name, and you're off and running. The tours can also be grouped together. So if you have like a food tour, a hotel tour, a recreation tour, you can group them all together in 3. If you have, say, economic development, if you have Mega Site 1 tour, Mega Site 2 tour, and 3, you could put those together in a tour. You simply create the tour group, and then you add tours to that there. For creating a tour, it is really easy. You'll come in, and this is one for an existing tour here. You'll see a board where you'll simply add a new stop, and you'll get to work from there. Each stop has a general tab here. So you give it a name, that site description. This is where you're doing a lot of copying and pasting here. You're going to choose a location on the map of where it should be. And then if you have any social media associated with it, you can put that in for the specific stop. Once you create the general overview here, it's going to unlock these other ones here. So you'll be able to choose Street View, or the custom tour option is where you can put that URL for a website, or not for a website, excuse me, for your, if you have a drone video or a architectural walkthrough, that's what the custom tour is there. The data one, we're going to rename this to be the content for the website one. This is where you're going to put the URL for that website. So here I have the location of the attractions URL in this. And then the gallery has the place to add photos or videos there. It is really easy. And then once you're doing it, you can view the tour to check your work. Once you're ready to share it, you copy the ZoomTour link, and bam, you're off to go to your social media there. It is really easy to make this here. It is really just about simply creating the content for the tour, this Nye County tour here. I am using all Google's tools or a quick Google search to find a website. So Google Maps, Google Street View, and Google Content here, or the website that I Googled up. So if I come into this one here, this extraterrestrial highway, I simply copied something from their website. I went to Street View, put in the Street View location here. I have some galleries for some images, and then I added in the website. I don't have any fancy drone video for stuff for this. I kept it simple. You can do that with your tours. So that's the admin and how you're creating tours there. It is really simple and it is easy to do. Once you have the basic idea, you should really be spending about 30 minutes at most creating a solid tour with, 6 to 10 stops. Elisa, any thoughts on that? How do I do there?
Yeah, sure. So part of what we have done to make this really easy for anyone to pick up and immediately start creating is we've got some resources, some suggestions on how to make them as successful as possible. For example, we suggest that in your intro panel, if you want to show what the overview looks like on the intro, that you explain who you are, what this is about, very briefly and succinctly, include links to your website. If the intention, for example, is to get people to contact you to ask more about a specific property that you're profiling, or maybe you're trying to attract film and video production to your corner of the state or your province, make sure that you have an email address and contact information in there. Make it as hyper linkable as possible. I don't think that's a word, but that's basically the idea. These are calls to action. And what you're doing here is you're using data, whether it's GIS planning data from other tools or data from Google, data that you're providing information about whatever your theme is about, and then you want them to do something. You want them to contact you. You want them to sign up for a demo. You want to click for more information. You want to reach out to a broker. You want to use those hyperlinks. And so we include resource materials with suggestions on how to make these as effective as possible, and then how to go about using them in ways that really help to turbocharge your place marketing, easily add new content to your website by putting the links on there without having to spend a lot of money investing in website design and going back to your web content manager and asking them to add a whole bunch of new pages. This really makes it easy to add exciting new content and to update it quickly. So one example that I just want to give you actually was when British Columbia, the province of British Columbia, experienced terrible flooding last year. They contacted us and they set up within an hour a Zoom tour with links to all of the appropriate emergency resources if they wanted to get in touch. This is for agricultural producers, for Red Cross, all those kinds of things. It was quick, it was easy, it was visual, it included hyperlinks. So that was a really creative way to use the tool. The new ZoomTour, what we've done to it this year, what you're seeing here, is the fact that it is so visual and so easy for your website visitors to navigate and be able to see all of those things. So that is something we're really, really excited to share with you. I see some questions. Chris, I'm going to put those out there if that's okay, and you can help us answer them.
Let's dive in. Yeah, if you have questions, folks, I forgot to do this. In the GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar control panel, the questions portion, type your question in there and we can get to it here. We've got a couple in there, so add some more. So Lisa, let's start at the top.
Yeah, exactly. So just one thing that I wanted to say is if you already have ZoomTour, if you are a client already using it, you will notice that we have already updated it. So it is the new version of ZoomTour already in place on your website. Let's start with an easy question. Well, I think this is an easy question. Maybe I'm wrong, but can you create a tour in Mexico? Someone wants to know.
Yes, so wherever you are, you should create a tour. It's got to be on Earth. That's the only
Planet Earth,
limit.
right? Okay, that's
So
fair. We could definitely do that.
we can constrain you that way. So yeah, so if you're in France, Mexico, we've set this up for multiple countries, and it is again super easy to do. So not a problem of where you're at there. Yeah.
Okay, do I need to have Zoom Prospector to use ZoomTour?
No, so this is standalone here. I've showed you in the other tour where they embedded some of their Zoom Prospector information, but this is really designed to stand alone and apart from Zoom Prospector. It can work together, but this is really something where think of it more like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, where you're really creating quick and lots of these to share for various uses there.
Those are good examples, but this is really way cooler. But I understand where you were going with that, Chris. So
Yeah.
so that's fair. Another question. This is from Haley. We're currently creating a tour and each stop is defaulting to begin with a street view. We'd prefer it to first display the overview. Is there a way to set this?
What a lovely question, Haley. So when we're looking at a tour stop, when I come in here, you'll notice that these are looking at, say, street view, where was the images on this one? This is something that can be set in the admin. So let's do a little support on the call here. So Haley, when you're editing a stop, you're gonna see not for the map necessarily, but say for street view, there's a make default button. So that can just be unchecked and saved. For the map one, this one is down by the map. You can simply click that and make that default. And that way, when you're in the tour here, that will be, when you click on it, it will be the first one shown. So super easy. If you're having trouble with that, support@gisplanning.com, or you can call us as well.
Excellent. Okay. And another question, is the 360-degree tour option only meant for drone footage?
No, so it is really what is an MP4 file in there. So let's go to this one and look at this. So this is something that this client went out and they had a bunch of this shot, and they have it hosted somewhere. There's a URL for it, and it's added in here. Here's one version of it. If I can look through another one, sorry, I have a million tabs open. This is a tour that uses a Matterport walkthrough here. So let's see if this is it. No, that's the video. Let me find it one quick here. So this is one of those immersive walkthroughs where you come into the model, you click somewhere, and you're starting to walk around, and you can click to the next room and go through. So these are really the two major ways that looks and does things there. So it doesn't have to be drone only, but it is designed for sort of this 360 world.
Oh, I've got a question that's very exciting. I'm going to go with this question next, Chris.
Okay.
This is from Ferdinand, and he says, is this tool only for an economic development of a city? We're a local business, and there's kind of a directory list of businesses in our area. And I am so happy to see this question because you can do ZoomTour for anything. Yeah. As long as you understand that each stop on the tour has to be in a physical location, different place on planet Earth, as Chris has said, you could absolutely use this. So this could be a directory of all the businesses on your main street. It can be a walk down a historic district. It can absolutely be a list of businesses in an area, local businesses who want to promote themselves. It can be the top 10 restaurants around your conference center. It could be the top bike paths in your city. It could be culture, tourism, arts and recreation. So that is just really a fantastic question, and you can absolutely use this for anything. We say let your imagination be your guide.
And it doesn't have to be a physical location, like it can be an idea. So this is on the coast, so it could be our beautiful beaches, and you could slap the map location anywhere you wanted and talk about it there. So it is, and again, economic development, let's be honest, can be not so exciting, and a big part of that is you know, getting people to come to town essentially. And so food, things to do, recreation, you have seasons, you have different types of recreation as well. These are all parts of tours that we recommend. In fact, another question here, is sort of best practices for creating tours. Create tours that people are interested in. People are interested in food and going outside and art. You may not think that's part of your day-to-day, but these are easy way to create content. Again, who creates a tour of Nye County just for tourism purposes? Well, it's interesting. It's easy to do. This can be put on my website, and I can have a tour that shows things without creating a lot of work. So
amazing.
You can, yeah. So what Elisa says, there's no limit here. You just need to put things on the map and come up with ideas. They don't have to be complex.
So in fact, we have another question here. So what makes this different than just Google Maps where each business is listed?
Because you're controlling the narrative here. So we come in to do a tour, we have this introduction, and setting the pace. We start the tour. This is what I want you to see. This county is the size of like Maine, essentially, or something like that. So just to go to Google Maps and say, hey, go to Google Maps and look around and see what I've got to offer. No one's going to do that. You want to tell your story in a certain way here that steps people through and makes it easy to create that narrative. And it's something on your website. So it's not the same. It's not like a PowerPoint and all where people are clicking through things. It allows them to explore and learn more.
And since you get to choose the order, the businesses that are included, you get to choose the order that they're profiled in. You don't have someone's sponsored ad, coming in at the top. You get to control the narrative here and the story that you're telling. And that includes the copy that'll be in the overview tab. It includes the pictures, the video, the audio, even the position of the 360-degree street view that you choose to use. So this is really more about a marketing tool than just a complete list that is generated by Google, for example.
Yeah.
We have some other questions.
We have 1,000 questions here, so we're sorting through these. How about this one, Elisa? We answered this a little bit. If you already have Zoom Prospector, is this included? And how does the licensing work for this?
Yes.
So this is standalone. It is separate from your Zoom Prospector. If you don't have Zoom Prospector, you can get ZoomTour alone. If you don't have either, you can get both if that fits your needs. We're happy to talk with you, and one of our sales reps can contact you as well. Licensing is really affordable on this. Lisa, do you want to talk about that real quick?
Sure, yeah. So we've indexed this to population size. So I'm going to give you, it's basically sales@gisplanning.com. You can reach out, or marketing@gisplanning.com. You'll get a follow-up email from us with a link to this video and some other tours. You can take a look at them. So you can reply to that as well. We could tell you we want to make this affordable for both small communities and large regions. If you are an existing GIS Planning customer, let's say you use Zoom Prospector, you will get an additional discount if you want to add a ZoomTour to the mix. So I don't have a single number to throw out there other than to say very affordable piece of software and something that is indexed to community size to keep it affordable for you as much as possible. Any additional costs related to this service? I guess in that case, if I understand correctly, that was if you already had other GIS planning tools. Yes, this is a standalone, so it would be an additional, because it's additional product. For tours that were already created, Chris, can they be added into a group, or is the group option only for new tours?
That's exactly how it works. So you have all these tours here. You can come in and I want to make a group of X, Y, or Z, and you'll simply come over to the groups panel, add that new group, and then add those tours. If you want to remove a tour from a group, you can edit it. But yeah, that works at any point in it. It doesn't have to, it's real easy. You have, this pool of M&Ms that are tours. You can create the colors and order of any of those M&Ms at any point. And you can use a tour over and over again in multiple groups.
Another question, if I subscribe, can it be whitelisted on our domain?
Yes. So right now it is, tours.zoomprospector.com. It's not the most graceful URL, but it's not the ugliest, but it is going to be this URL here. So it doesn't have that for the branding, but the colors here, you'll notice the blue, and there's a secondary color in this, as well as your logo can be in here. So if we go back to this NISA one, they have a different color, blue, and their logo in here. If we pop over here, well, everyone's using blue. Here's a red and that logo. So we do brand it with your name up here and the logo, but it will be the domain of zoomprospector.com.
However, because you generate it as a link, you can use a link shortener if you want. And of course, you can put that link behind an image on your website or on hyperlink it as you like. But yes, the URL is going to have that in there at the end of the day when it shows. Chris, I'm going through all the questions to see if there's anything that I
think that's it. Yeah, overall, folks, it's really easy just to create tours. Sorry, let me go back to clicking and give you something to look at on the screen here. It is really easy to create tours. The idea when you come on board is you'll meet with me. I'll give you some inspiration here. It doesn't have to be super fancy. And what I want you to do is create, really, I want to see a food tour from you because everyone has to eat wherever you are. Probably there's no exceptions on that. I can't think of one. But also recreations and other arts. These are some basics we'll talk about to help you get started here. But it's really about just getting in, creating some basic tours. The Nye County one might seem silly to some of you, but it's a simple tour that works great in concept. This is what we want going on. As soon as you come on board, it takes about an hour to set up. We have an hour call, and from there you're off to creating tours and sharing them in your website, social media, newsletters.
So I'm going to grab the tools back here just so I could share my screen and you could just see what comes next here. Basically, I want to make sure, we've had a lot of great feedback from clients over time. Greater Yuma has done some interesting things, including different tours profiling specific industry sectors, and just people generally being very, very pleased with how easy these are to use. You will hear from us by tomorrow with a link to the video recording of this, and you'll have our contact information and some links to some tours so you can check them out for yourself. If you do have any questions, you can also reach out to us at either sales@gisplanning.com or support@gisplanning.com. I'd like to thank all of you for your interest, for helping us celebrate our 25th anniversary as the leading GIS data software provider for economic development and corporate site selection. Chris, always a pleasure to do these with you.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll do it again if you want to attend another webinar. Give us a couple months. So.
Sounds good. Thank you all, and we'll be in touch. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thanks, everyone.